Iranian security officials helped Hamas plan the surprise attack on Israel, senior members of Hamas and Hezbollah said. The green light for the attack, which included air, land, and sea incursions, was given at a meeting in Beirut last week. A spokesman for Iran's mission to the UN said Iran stood in support of Gaza's actions, but didn't direct them.
Hamas is considered a proxy group of Iran. The exact nature of how much Hamas is being led by Iran has always been unclear. But of course, they receive a lot of their funding from Iran, a lot of their training from Iran, and a lot of their weapons from Iran. That is according to Israeli officials here in Israel.
The planning for the operation began in August, according to senior members of Hamas and Hezbollah. The direct Iranian involvement could raise the risk of a broader conflict in the Middle East.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Sheep Get Sheared podcast, home of people, politics, and popular culture. I'm your host, Austin Creed, and my friends, I want to welcome you into the show. And, it's time for me to set the record straight. In a time of war, nothing new really happens. They might appear new, you might see a different version of the same old thing, but as Sun Tzu said in The Art of War, all warfare is based on deception. So therefore, propaganda is more prevalent now than it was even during the height of the Ukraine conflict, which is still going on. But we have so much propaganda going on that it's really hard to know what is true and what is false. But luckily for you, and well as for me, I'm able to read chapter and verse. I'm well versed in history, and I don't forget the bouncing ball. I don't start looking into this before. I don't start looking into this after something has happened. No, I've known what was going to happen or suspected what was going to happen before it happened. Not because I'm brilliant, but because I pay attention. Now, here's one thing that I want to play for you, because before I play it, I am going to tell you today on this show, I firmly believe that the West is in a dance of death with the propagandists in the media, with the various wars that are going on in the world. We are on the brink of a worldwide conflict. The more war begets more war, and the more we see war being pushed, the more we see the war hawks, the military-industrial complex, the politicians, whether they be on the left or the right side, we see them calling for more war. We see them feeding the war hawks to have them descend upon the world yet again. Now, for those of you who are anti-Zionists because you say that, oh, it's all that evil. Zionism is racism. I heard it from those know-nothing morons and their protests, so therefore it must be true. And I hear this free Palestine, and I care about, I care about people, and I heard this saying that you don't need to be Muslim, you just need to be human to care about Palestine, so therefore I'm against the state of Israel, and I don't think that this should be happening. I would like to kindly remind everybody that it was Hamas who started this, who has been funded by Iran. You know what's so funny? I don't say funny as in it's ha-ha funny. I say it funny as in it's disgusting. Why is it, can someone kindly explain to me, why is it that the same people in America who talk about church and state, the leftists who scream about the separation of church and state and the establishment clause in the Constitution, why is it they are so in love with theocracies like in Iran? Why are they so in love with the theocracy that the Sharia law calls for in every country that it's been enacted in? Why are they so in love with it? Why do I see these movements like Queers for Palestine? Why do I see these things? Did they miss the video that I saw on X the other day about a homosexual guy being thrown off a roof by Iranians? Oh, you didn't see that video? Oh, you didn't see that, did you? No, you bought the rubbish that, we as Muslims, we care about everybody, and we care about freedom, and we care about democracy. No, they don't, you schmuck. They want you to become them. They're not immigrants. They're settlers. But you don't need to take my word for it. They say it themselves when they talk about how, oh, Muhammad the Prophet was such a sacred, holy man, and the words of the Prophet are so sacred and holy, and I follow them, and that makes me superior. Really? Well, if that's the case, then would you kindly like to explain this? Oh yes, I found this video. The commentary is done by Dr. Michael Savage. And here we go. Would you kindly explain to me what you're about to listen to? This is not fake news. This is real news, not the fake garbage that the propagandists and the paid puppets are going to tell you. Listen to this. Here we go.
That is, you need to know the importance of Muhammad the Prophet. His behavior is an example to all Muslims that cannot be criticized. Now, if Muhammad had been a man of peace, let us say like Gandhi and Mother Teresa wrapped in one, there would be no problem. But Muhammad was a warlord, a mass murderer, a pedophile, and had several marriages at the same time. Islamic tradition tells us how he fought in battles, how he had his enemies murdered and even had prisoners of war executed.
Oh, wow, we're off to a great start. Listen, you hear that? The sacred man the sacred man of this religion talks about how he's so holy and he's so. Look, I get people aren't perfect, okay, but how can you support this? Was Jesus like this? Was Moses like this? I don't think so. And yet they have the nerve to pretend like they're holier than you. Let's keep going.
Muhammad himself slaughtered the Jewish tribe of Banu Qurayza.
Oh, he slaughtered an entire tribe of Jews. Now you see where they get it from. Now you see why they hate Israel. Oh, by the way, in case you didn't know, the esteemed radical Muslims, if you want to call them that, they call Israel Little Satan and America the Great Satan, just to show how tolerant they are and how amazing they are. They refer to Israel as Little Satan and America as the Great Satan. Oh yeah, that really screams peace and wanting to get along with your fellow man. Oh, and add to the fact that this is the guy that they follow and who cannot be criticized. A pedophile, multiple marriages, warlord, executed prisoners of war. Oh, we're going on. This is really great stuff. Let's listen to more.
If it is good for Islam, it is good. If it is bad for Islam, it is bad. Let no one fool you about Islam being a religion, writes Gerd Wilders. Sure, it has a God and a hereafter and 72 virgins. But in its essence, he writes, Islam is a political ideology. It is a system that lays down detailed rules for society and the life of every person. Islam wants to dictate every aspect of life.
That's what Sharia law is, by the way. For those of you looking at the screen and you're looking at the sign saying Sharia for the Netherlands, Islam will be superior. Oh yeah, when's the last time you saw a Christian say that we need traditional Christian law in this country because we are superior to everybody? No, maybe there might be one person who said that. I don't hear that coming from anywhere. Does anybody actually know what Sharia law is? Oh, you don't know? It sounds benign. Sharia law, really? No, it's not benign. In fact, if you want to know, you can go over to my Twitter page, at Sheep Get Sheared, and I actually retweeted this. Multiple things. I retweeted a guy being flogged in public. Oh yeah, very tolerant. Oh, and I also reposted a nice little thing. Normally I don't give credit to CNN because they're largely fake news in my opinion. But I want to laud them for one thing they did do. They did highlight the realities of a lot of places in the Arab world. They had the guts to actually post. They had the guts to actually go and post a older man in his 50s purchasing, that's right, I said purchasing, for the equivalent of 200,000 American dollars, a 9-year-old girl to be his wife. Oh, and that's what you want in this country, huh? Well, Sharia law allows for that. Oh yeah, all you leftists who talk about how much you love LGBTQ rights and how much you hate how you want the separation of church and state and you hate the crosses in courtrooms and the 10 Commandments in the courtroom, in the classroom. You want to support that? You want to support the ability for a 50-something-year-old man with a filthy, dirty beard to go and marry a 9-year-old girl that he purchases from that he goes and purchases from a poor family? Okay. Really? You want to support that because that's what Islam allows in the countries that allow Sharia law. That is what they permit. I'm not saying every Muslim would do that. I'm saying it is permitted under Sharia law in the Middle East. And then you have these people wanting to pretend like, oh, it's so mild. They just want to be free. They just want to have the same rights as everybody else. No. They say it's a religion of peace. I say it's a religion of pieces. Go ahead. If you don't like it, go write the FCC. Go report me. I don't give a damn what you do because you know that I'm right. And you're floored that I actually have the guts to say it. That's right. I said it. Go ahead. See if you could sue me, you pig. Let's keep going.
Islam means submission. Islam is not compatible with freedom and democracy because what it strives for is Sharia. If you want to compare Islam to anything, compare it to communism or National Socialism. These are all totalitarian ideologies. Now, you know why Winston Churchill called Islam the most retrograde force in the world and why he compared Mein Kampf to the Quran.
Oh, you didn't know about that part, did you? That he compared Mein Kampf to the Quran? Oh, yeah, you didn't know about that, did you? You thought that they couldn't be more separate. No, my friends. Oh, and for those of you who said that, old Adolf was a Christian, no, he wasn't. In fact, he murdered millions of Christians as well as he killed Jews. He murdered a lot of Catholics. Oh, but you didn't know that because you were told otherwise. He killed the gypsies. He got rid of the Jews. He got rid of the Christians. Oh, but you didn't know about that, did you? No, you didn't hear about that, did you? If you want, I can do an entire show about comparing Mein Kampf and the Quran if you want. I don't do this because I despise people. I do this because I am sick of the constant brainwashing that Islam stands for peace and all they want is everybody to be peaceful and happy. No, that's not the case. Why then is it that anywhere in the world when there's a bomb going off, to almost the 99th percentile, it's a Muslim screaming for the death of Christians or Jews or anybody they don't like? Where's the peace in that exactly? As in rest in peace? Why do people not want to accept what I'm saying? Because it's not politically correct? Well, that's too dang bad. Because if this wasn't the case, I wouldn't be saying it. Do you understand how powerful the Islamic mafia is when it comes to anyone who criticizes them and their holy book and their holy prophet? Do you have any idea how much contempt and hatred that I've gotten from Muslims who tell me that I don't know what I'm talking about when I'm reading their sacred text and not putting it through the brainwashing filter and I actually tell you what it says, not what, oh, he said this, but what he meant to say. No, I ain't playing that garbage game. No, we ain't playing that garbage over here. No, we ain't doing that. I am not doing that. That is completely disgusting, and I'm not doing it.
The public has wholeheartedly accepted the Palestinian narrative and sees Israel as the aggressor.
This is a somewhat older clip, by the way. In case you didn't know, the clip that you just listened to is an older clip. When was this done? This was posted back in 2014. And people were still supporting the Palestinian narrative back then over the Jewish narrative now. Because apparently there's so much, the anti-Semitism is so powerful out here that they'd have you believe that the Jews are evil. Can you kindly explain to me, if Israel is so evil, why is it that Arabs can live there in peace, and yet no Jews live in any surrounding Arab countries? Can you kindly explain to me why it is that there are Arab Muslims who live in Israel, and there are no Jews who live in the Arab-controlled Muslim countries around Israel? If you can give me the answer to that question, you might come to terms with what I'm saying to you. That we are in a dance of death because of the hypocrisy by the politicians who talk all day about the Establishment Clause. They talk about how bad religion is when it comes to matters of state, and yet they support theocracies like Iran and their front groups like Hamas and Hezbollah and their proxy war against Israel. And I even talked about this not that long ago. I talked about this on this show. I talked about how the sayings, the slogans you're hearing today, the Zionism is racism, from the river to the sea, free Palestine, all these slogans were either created by the charter of these terrorist groups or by the Soviet Union to try to get rid of Israel when it was founded back in the 40s. You don't know about this because you're not taught it. The Free Palestine narrative was created by the KGB in their attempt to get rid of Israel in their hopes of controlling the Middle East. You don't know that, though, because you're not told that. You were not instructed. You think it's all because they want people to feel good and be free. No, they don't. That is not true. But because it sounds positive, you want to support it. That's why they frame it that way. That's why it's framed that way, you moron. If it was just them saying, instead of saying free Palestine, if they were just saying get rid of Israel and get rid of the Jews like they did back in the day, you'd be like, oh, that's horrible. I can't get behind that. That's kind of, I can't, even if I don't even like Jews that much, that's not good. But then when they say free Palestine, you can automatically say, that sounds positive, I'll support that. Not knowing that when they say from the river to the sea, referring to the Jordan River to the Mediterranean Sea, they're talking about pushing all the Jews out by force, using their blood to water their crops. You don't know that, though. You don't realize that, because if you did, then you might be like, ooh, I don't like that. It kind of sounds bad. Of course it sounds bad, because that's what it actually means. Again, they use positive language to slowly get rid of you and kill you. But you don't know that, because if you did, you might have to take accountability for accepting it. Instead, you can feign ignorance and be like, oh, I didn't know that. I just thought it was a cool slogan. My friends, this is no laughing matter. In fact, if you think I'm making it up, let's go to the next clip on the show on the Sheep Get Sheared podcast today. I got another one for you. Here, this is a pro-Palestinian protester removing an Israeli flag. Here you have it. Here it is. Ready? He's on the roof. They're shouting, take it down. This piece of garbage has the nerve to take down the Israeli flag while a crowd is chanting, take it down. And then look what he's about to put up. Are you listening to this? You hear all the little Nazis in the crowd chanting for the downfall of Israel and Jews? You hear that? This is in America, I'm pretty sure. Oh, and there's no cause for concern. Just taking down an Israeli flag. And I'm supposed to just sit here and say that there's nothing wrong. There's nothing bad going on here. Really? Really? Do people not realize that when it comes to... you know what? I'll talk about it. As soon as I mention World War II, people are going to tune out. But that's okay. I'm going to talk about it anyways. In World War II, do you really think that as soon as the H-man took power, that immediately the death camps started? No. No, it started with them not being able to use swimming pools, not being able to go to certain places, same schools. And then before you knew it, there were death camps and a mountain of human skulls, sheds of human hair. And children being experimented on. It's a slow decline that seems so gradual you don't even see it. I saw yesterday in Australia, there was a little thing in the window of a business that said, that basically was saying, no Jews, no Israel. That's exactly what happened in Germany in the 30s, leading to the death camps. And all we're missing are the Star of David and the death camps. Again, I don't say this to be a provocateur. I say this because this is exactly how things start. Little things here and there that you think are insignificant, it's just rhetoric. Before you know it, it leads to a railroad where the end of the line is a death camp, like they had in Germany. This is not a joke. My friends, this is why I say the West is in a dance of death. Because there are so many useful idiots out there that Lenin wrote about that are being used in this push towards worldwide socialism. They want to get rid of anyone that could be in their way, and Israel's always been in the way. We should support Israel now more than ever. My friends, please be praying for Israel. This is not a joke. This is not a drill. This is not just rhetoric. My friends, God bless you. God bless your families. And God bless America during this trying time. God bless Israel. This is how atrocities start. And they've already started. What must be done? What do you think should be done? I have a good idea, but I will stop here. Have a great day, and please be in prayer. Peace.